Listen, I do too, man. I don't like reading. The only thing I don't like more than reading is fucking writing. So I was in hell for 2 years, man. Like literal hell. Like I went 10 days without sex. Like I wasn't hardly getting no pussy.
Tough life.
I went like 57 days and only like I did like no drugs. I mean, I like did a quarter tab of acid once, like smoked weed a couple times, but like other than that, 57 days, no drugs. You don't understand from like a sex addict like fucking 3-4 times a day to like. I mean, I know it doesn't sound crazy, but if you're doing fucking heroin 9 times a day and you don't do it for 10 days, it's a big deal, So
what are the witch? Yeah, I got it. I get it.
Back me up here, man.
What are the withdrawals look? What are the withdrawals of sex addiction?
That's a great question.
Like, what do you find happening to yourself when you
instead of
stop,
like going like this?
Yeah,
you
when
go
you
like
stop
this?
fucking.
That is a good question. Honestly, I was so fucking like in this book that I don't know, man. I just kind of like blocked shit out. Like I didn't work out as much. It's just like a lot of things. I found that when I would train, it would take like 3 hours away from, because I could work on this book for 20 fucking hours straight, but I would only have a certain amount of like good hours where I was like making positive progress. And there were sometimes, I mean, you wrote a book, you'll spend time and you'll fucking be counterproductive, right? So there's like, you have to like, have the self-discipline to figure out like when to stop. And it was shitty. It was really shitty. But I kicked a lot of addictions. I kicked like a gambling addiction, a sex addiction, drug addiction, all this stuff. And I did it all in the, pretty much the same period. So it was a hard right from what my life was before.
Yeah.
Personally, I've found it is really, really hard to balance when I'm being creative and pursuing anything involving my creativity or storytelling and fitness.
Yeah,
I've always been bad at it. Fitness takes a lot out of me, man.
It does, and I didn't realize like how like on you have to be like in that creative state where you're like you're focused and you're creative and you're coming up with new thoughts and your mind is working correctly. It's just there's just a amount you have, and if you don't sleep good, then the day is pretty much fucked. And it's a lot. So I had no idea what the fuck I was biting off. I really didn't. I just read Goggins' book and I was like, if this guy could write a book, like I could write a book. I mean, not that like he's not a smart guy, but he's a fucking Navy SEAL, like endurance. He's not a writer, right? He was like, he said in his book he's dyslexic, like this whole thing. And we had a similar story too. I mean, we did like probably about the same amount of SEAL training. He's probably like one of the only guys that has done as much SEAL training as me, or maybe even more. And I just that part of his book really resonated with me, and I knew I had like the girl piece of it too, which I felt like would be super interesting to a lot of guys. And then there was kind of the explanation of that. There was the fame, there was the gambling, there was just like so many different things that I feel like guys